connected.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's dafobra. I am just about at the 1,000 mile mark with my Triumph Street Triple. Not exactly 1,000, but close enough to 1,000 that I think I can make some real observations and conclusions after coming off 3 sport bikes, SuperSports, and how I feel about the transition from SuperSport to naked. So prior to this, if you don't know, I had a 2007 CBR 600RR. Beautiful motorcycle. I absolutely love that motorcycle. I had that bike for 3.5 years, and I did sell it to move to this 2013 Triumph Street Triple ABS. Let me just first off start by saying the riding that I do is, I would say, 40 to 50% commuting back and forth to work on streets like this, and the other 50 to 60% would be riding with the guys, with the crew on the weekends. It could be some highway, it could be some twisties. I haven't done any super long trips. I'd say the longest I've probably ridden was out to Boston, and I took the CBR for that. So now, talking about having all that said, the first area that a naked bike, and like I said, this is a 675 Street Triple, to me is superior to a sport bike or a SuperSport. Let's start with the obvious. There is the ergonomics. The ergonomics, you're a bit more upright. I'm not solidly upright like I would be on an FZ09. I am a little bit more lean forward, and to be honest with you, it's somewhat similar to the seating position I used to ride on my CBR. The clip-ons on my CBR 600 were not super low, but they were certainly lower than this. The Street Triple is much more comfortable. I find that my body isn't kind of hurting at all. And I also want to say that without using clip-ons and using a traditional handlebar, I don't know, it just inspires a bit more confidence. I feel like I have more control to throw the bike around. And as a result, I ride this bike with a lot more confidence than I ever did the CBR 600. Okay, the second area where this naked bike really and clearly outshines the SuperSport is not. This is a 675cc triple inline 3, whereas the CBR 600. Come on, let's go, buddy. You got a big engine there. My CBR 600 was a 600cc or 599cc inline 4. And this bike makes gobs of power and torque where the CBR never could. I found that often I would be in the wrong gear with the CBR, where it wouldn't be, nice LSC, where it wouldn't have enough power to pull well through a turn if I was in the wrong gear, or if the RPMs were too low. For example, the CBR always felt most comfortable after like 7,000 RPM. That's when it really started to pull. Whereas the 675 inline 3 kind of pulls everywhere. It really does. You get power at 4,000 RPM, it'll pull you through a turn. It'll pull you out of a situation. It's got the torque and the power to get moving at lower RPMs. And that's not to say that it's a slouch up top. I mean, redline on this thing is like 13 or something like that. It's tough to see the tag, but I mean, the other day we were riding out, I was shifting it at 12 grand, and then she pulls. She's got power up top too. And I often wonder, the power on this is so linear versus the SuperSport, which felt a lot more peaky because you could actually feel the power kind of coming on at 7 grand-ish or 7,500 or 8,000, whatever. Whereas this is much more linear. It just makes power from, you know, the low mid-range all the way on up. There's no surge of power. It just goes. And for somebody like me, commuting days, it is a godsend. So that's the second thing, the power band. I also want to talk about insurance. When it comes to motorcycle insurance, the type of motorcycle that you're riding has a lot to do with your insurance. Of course, there are other variables like your driving record and how your age and where you live and whatnot. But I will say, going from a 2007 CBR 600RR to a 2013 Triumph Street Triple, I'm paying less. And I'm paying about, let's see, about 20% less. Same exact coverages, same everything. This bike, which is 6 years newer, and maybe it's just because it's a naked. And I assume that's what it is, versus a CBR 600RR, which is a SuperSport. So it's cheaper to own. The other downside, or kind of downside, is when you talk about wind. Now, I'm between 5'11" and 6 feet. I do have the optional fly screen, which, you know, I'm coming from a CBR 600 that had the zero gravity double bubble, which worked really well. And I don't know what it is, but I don't feel the wind anywhere near as what as I thought. When I was talking about going to a naked bike, my big reservation was the wind. And where's it going to hit me? And I think it hits me. I think it hit me right around here, and it's fine. It's easy to deal with. I think the wind becomes an issue for me at probably around, I don't know, 90 miles an hour. You start to feel it. I mean, crosswinds, you're going to feel it no matter what you're on. But the wind is a lot better than I thought. I mean, you can cruise 70, 75 all day long. I don't feel anything. The wind isn't pushing me around. Maybe around 90, you feel it a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't do 130 on this thing, that's for sure. But, you know, I didn't do 130 on the CBR either. Right? So, there you go. Those are my impressions after just about 1,000 miles on the Triumph Street Triple. Going from a SuperSport to a naked bike. What's the bottom line for me? I do not regret going to a naked bike. I actually love this bike. Not to say that I didn't love the CBR, but I think I love this bike in a much broader sense. I love everything about this bike. And if you're thinking about moving to a naked bike, I think you should give it a shot, because they're a different breed of motorcycles. They're very enjoyable, and I'm very happy I made this choice. So those of you who are thinking about making the switch, you know what? Consider it, and consider the Street Triple. It's an excellent bike. It's a very balanced bike, and it's a fun bike. And I have to tell you, this bike, in the motorcycles that I've had, this motorcycle is the most fun motorcycle I have ever had. I can say that beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is the most fun bike I've ever had. Oh, that torque though. If you have any comments about the naked bike, or what I've said, or if you have an input on your naked bike versus a SuperSport, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I definitely want to hear it. I think it's a great discussion to have now that the naked bike segment is getting more and more popular. So anyway, if you're out and about, ride safe and be careful out there. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you.